Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4! And today spawning in on the east side of the map, playing in blue, we've got Orangutan, also known of course as Marinelord, playing as the Sengoku daimyo. And up against him today spawning in on the west side of the map, playing in red, hailing in from Sweden, it's Numudan playing as the House of Lancaster. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia. As always, hope you guys having a great morning, good afternoon, or good evening. And it's an exciting game today because we've got the Sengoku Daimyo, new civilization from the Dynasties of the East DLC. And then we've got the House of Lancaster, one of the civilizations that we've come to know and love now from the Knights of Cross and Rose DLC. And more importantly, I really wanted to feature this match. I know we've been seeing a lot of the House of Lancaster recently, but I felt like I had to do this one because we've got marinelord. It's not every day you get to watch a game from, well, essentially the very best player in Age of Empires 4 right now. I don't think there's much dispute about that because he just keeps on winning S tier after S tier tournament. So he's going to be playing up as the Sengoku daimyo up against a House of Lancaster, which is increasingly doing some Dark Age shenanigans. Led by Numudan, I feel, but I imagine someone else has done it before maybe. But we've been seeing a lot of Numudan games recently, and he's been doing this a lot. Now, a lot of it's coming down to the fact that the House of Lancaster do get a bit of a herdable bonus. Villagers gather from sheep 20% faster, which, by the way, they have to be careful not to run out of sheep underneath the town centre. But yeah, getting spearmen out nice and early is going to try and hamper the Sengoku daimyo's efforts to get to the Feudal Age, and, well, a big part of it is actually because of the Matsuri. So it's a building that costs wood. So you've got a bit of a wood investment, which means that the Sengoku daimyo typically have to go to wood earlier. And because of that, well, essentially because they have to spend an extra 100 wood, right? But also they need 100, well, how much is actually for a forge? Actually, is it a bit more than that? Yeah, no, it's 50. It's 50 wood for a forge, essentially the mining camp for them. And it's kind of an interesting talking point because the Sengoku daimyo uses the Matsuri as a universal drop-off point. Now, you can use it on wood, as marinelord has decided to do today. But then it means you've got to go on wood so that you can afford a forge for the gold. It means you're on the gold a little bit later, and it can be prone to harassment, which is actually looking to be the case. Now he has to actually have, he has to send a whole bunch of villagers to try and make sure he gets enough gold, sending 10, just so he can afford the next age. So it's kind of a bit of idle time. I mean, I feel like it's made it worthwhile, actually, because the walking out with 10 villagers without a wheelbarrow, it's a bit, it's a bit inefficient, but it is what it is. He has to get the gold either way, otherwise it becomes a serious problem. And he will get it in the end, because there's only one spearman after all. The other spearman kind of going for the Atai. You have to wonder, though, if Numudan did send all his spearmen there, he probably could have got a villager kill, but of course he wasn't to know. More importantly, he just wants to harass the Atai, which is gathering food for the Sengoku daimyo. By the way, if you weren't aware that the Sengoku daimyo, the Atai, comes out of the Matsuri, and again, that's another why it costs a bit of wood, right? So they're quite heavy wood dependent in the early game, but what it does is gather you food, depending on the food sources around. It's got a base rate of gathering of 20 food per minute, and then it increases depending what's around it. Maximum, of course, there is one, goes up to 60 food per minute. But the big thing is that after a while, it does actually send a trader back. You can see the kind of progress bar on top of the blue bar there. And once that's full, it sends a trader back to the Matsuri, increases the gather rate aura for the villagers around the Matsuri. It's a really powerful thing, actually, for the civilization. A big part of their economy boost. It's going to go for the Cocker Township for the Feudal Age. Going to get access to the Shinobi, which has also changed pretty much. It's pretty cool, actually. It's a unit that doesn't cost any resources, can come out in stealth forests or nearby allied buildings, and can basically throw grenades that increase the damage your enemy takes, as well as slow down their movement speed. On the other side of things, it will be the Abbey of Kings here for the House of Lancaster to follow up this Dark Age rush. Now, things are probably going to quieten down now, that fact that the Feudal Ages will be creeping on in for both players. Good number of sheep, though, for marinelord, I've got to say, in total. A very, very healthy count. Now, I would like to say, by the way, a very big thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel, as always. Going the extra mile, thank you. Appreciate your support. Now, in terms of how this game generally pans out in this matchup, we do see a lot of pivoting to Castle Age plays for the Sengoku daimyo. Of course, they may need to react, though, because, of course, the Spearman Dark Age push a rush, I should say, and probably going to be expecting some feudal age units as well for the House of Lancaster. Certainly from the Abbey of the Kings, kind of expecting to see some of the Lords of Lancaster popping out. And looks like marinelord going to set himself up nicely with some, probably some Naginata Samurai. I think it's the thing about Sengoku daimyo is that a lot of their units in the early game and in the mid game, you kind of just need two key resources, food and gold. And they're set up so nicely for it. I think we're likely to see it later on in the game, but the sake brewery, which is one of the two choices of the Castle Age landmarks, is just so popular right now because it's such a great source of gold. And I feel like it makes it so that Civilization has such a really strong, I can't emphasize it enough, it's a really strong Castle Age, because when you're in the Castle Age, one thing you're worried about, especially if you get there a little bit maybe early compared to your opponent, and your opponent wants to do damage, you're worried about having access to food and gold. That's kind of what you need for Castle Age units, heavily armored units, whether it be samurai, upgrades, or in this sort of scenario, mounted samurai could be powerful. So if you kind of want those powerful units, you need gold, and the Sake Brewery gives you just that. But more importantly, you place it in the range of the Matsuri, and the Sake Brewery also benefits from the increased gather rate from the aura for the Matsuri. It's really, really powerful. It's only 5% at the moment in terms of villager gather rate, but that will increase. No doubt about it. And Naginata Samurai are out, so that'll contest the Spearmen for sure. We're going to be seeing not much of a follow-up just yet. There we are. There's the House of the House of Lancaster getting the Lords of Lancaster out. And the thing about the Yatai, they're pretty... I mean, there's only a handful of Spearmen pushing them away, but they've been fine so far. Been pushed back a little bit. This is probably a bit dicey. Does need to bring this one back. But the one in the south, like, he can still stay out here for, a good chunk of time. Just needs to send one Naginata Samurai. It's a bit more of an inconvenience rather than a problem. The Naginata Samurai should be able to deal with this. It's going to be able to get the upgrades as well. The Hardened Samurai. I'm also going to get Tatara as well. Increase the melee damage. Just to take this engagement. Out on the deer camp now are villagers with the mana. Now with the mana rework, to be honest with you, I won't go through them in great detail today because we've done it in other games and you probably have seen it. But long story short, the first mana is actually crazy. 99 food per minute, 44 wood per minute. Would be more, but of course, there's a second mana here, so some of the villagers are out on the map. But effectively, you need like 10 villagers to match the old mana's gather rate. So you're going to have 10 villagers to start off with, and if anything, it's actually costs... it's actually a drop-off building now, so you save wood on that front, which is very, very nice. Alright, looks like Numudan sending his units just to try and contest this Yatai. If he can get a body block, that's probably the big thing. That's probably what he needs to try and do, get surrounded. Now, he is on the wood line, so could potentially trap him in. Oh, doesn't quite get it. Doesn't get the surround. Maybe he's trying to. It looks like it. Oh, there's the trader, though. Yeah, this is big. Getting the trader here is huge. Not only does it deny the food income that it gathers when it deposits in the Matsuri, but more importantly, it denies the increase in aura, and I think that Yatai will go down. Oh, no, maybe not. Coming in at the perfect time, the Naginata Samurai saves the Yatai's life. Yeah, you can see the Castle Age kind of emphasis here for Sengoku Daimyo. He is looking to get there. He's floating a bit of food, a bit of gold. I say floating, but it's more like he's saving it, because obviously that's what he's planning to do. And these shinobi, as you can see, getting the grains out. This is great for the fight, actually. It adds such a big element to it. Because, I mean, it gets, I believe it's 50% more damage. That is a huge amount. And, of course, they can't run either, because the movement speed has been reduced with the grenades from the shinobi. It's super duper powerful. Yeah. Increased damage by 50%. Now, obviously, it's only for 3 seconds, but that could be the make or break of a fight, for sure. Alright, well, he's almost itching towards the Castle Age, and it's got to be the Sake Brewery, right? I mean, if anything, I've almost forgotten what the other option is. Oh yeah, Temple of Equality. I mean, it could be good for picking up relics, but, it's something you can consider, but if you're thinking about just a really nice power spike, safe resources, the Temple of Equality is not often the one you want to choose. If you're picking up relics, yeah, fair enough. You can maybe try and get timing on that, but you can always build a monastery as well. There are some upgrades in it too, but I don't know if they're as good as the Sake Brewery overall. It's going to lose a couple of units here. I mean, the yeomen are doing some great work at this stage. They're still pretty relevant in the feudal age. But it's really about marinelord just buying time to get to the castle age at this point, because these yeomen, they tend to lose, not total relevancy, but they're a lot less relevant in the castle age when you're thinking about, you know, veteran samurai, you're thinking about mounted samurai. The yeomen, they you need a lot of them to do any sort of meaningful damage, and that's a big chunk of the economy like filtered into this, which then kind of delays your own castle age if you're the House of Lancaster, so it can be a bit tricky. Of course, in the feudal age, though, he needs to make units. Naginata Samurai can pose a problem, and the yeomen are a good way to address on that particular problem. Speaking of problems, though, I mean, Numudan needs to find a way to deal with the gold problem that orangutan or marinelord is gathering, because this is what's going to fuel the castle age for him once he gets there. All those powerful units popping out. And this is the thing I'm talking about the sake brewery, why it's so strong. So the House of Lancaster can deny this gold, or even a lot of other civilizations may be aggressive if you're trying to put pressure on the sengoku daimyo on their castle age timing. But there's something that's even more difficult to do. Like, how do you pressure the sake brewery? It's right at the back of the base. It's under the influence of the Matsuri. It's with the town centre protection. And there's villagers going to be working on these mats before too long. So that's gold income pretty much secured, at least for the early stages of the castle age. Now, of course, he needs to be able to pump out units and get a mass to clear this up. But he's got the better quality of units for sure. Outpost fortified gives him a bit more breathing space, a bit more time on this. And especially with the yeomen, there's not much torch damage here. Going to rely on the hobilars. The Naginata Samurai, they're going to be doing great work against that. He's got the ranged armor, iron undermesh. A really big problem for marinelord now really is kind of food, would you believe? Where is food villagers? Kind of run out of food at the worst possible time, actually. Yeah, one thing to bear in mind, that your tie can be repaired, as you can see there. He's in the South Berries. This could be a really key location to attack. And the farms are out now. So that's the thing, right? The Matsuri is 15% gather rate, so he's got wood for farms even. And now he's happy as Larry. Now Numudan, he's going to be up to the castle age himself. Kind of curious to see what he goes up with. Usually we'd expect to see the White Tower. It is very rare that we see anything else. We'll see. Oh, outposts will go up in time. At least one of them will. They both will in the end. The timing on that, holy moly, could have been disastrous. Oh, hello! Okay, garrison's inside. Not enough. Oh, there is a bit more space, but not quite enough for everyone. So we'll lose a couple of villagers. Nice pick-offs here. The hobilars doing some great work. 2 villagers down, but here come the first of the cavalry units, the mounted samurai, and also the daimyo. And again, this is why actually the castle age power spike is super nice. It's not just the units you have access to, but the daimyo hero, he adds an additional attack speed aura on these units. 15% attack speed. Farms are up. And they're incredibly efficient as well. Yeah, White Tower is the choice here for the House of Lancaster. On the gold, on the deer, on the wood. It's a nice spot, actually. Protects quite a decent chunk of resources. And now is to think about what he goes for next. Maybe crossbows is an option for him. It's often the case that if you're up to the castle age later, you're often playing a bit more reactive. And when you're up against mounted samurai, I think crossbows have got to be on the cards. At least in some form. At least in some numbers. Maybe not full commitment to it, but a good chunk of the army surely has got to be crossbows. Would like to say, by the way, you know the mounted samurai? They are looking really, really good with the new shields. Look at that bad boy. Castle age is in place. He's going to head back home. Going to get the upgrades to the yeoman. I mean, again, we say that it's not particularly a great unit in the castle age when you're up against mounted samurai, but he has a good chunk of them that it's certainly worth upgrading to get some more value from. We'll see if any other units come out here for the sengoku. Like, I feel like samurai, Yumi Ashigaru are a really strong combination, because you're going to be up against a lot of spears usually. Spears, crossbows is often the combination that you go up against mounted samurai. And the great thing about Yumi Ashigaru is that they're relatively cheap, pretty fast on their feet, And the cheapness actually really helps out because it means you've got more resources to pump into mounted samurai, which is, I feel like that's the real staple of the Sengoku daimyo, especially late game. When you think about the clans coming in, the Takeda clan, I mean, this is level 1 now with the Takeda clan, so this has got an additional 5, well, an additional, wait, what, is it 5 HP? No, I'm thinking about the blacksmith upgrades, aren't I? Let's get a double check on that. But there's certainly a boost to the HP. Yeah, oh, it is 5 HP, yeah. An extra 5 HP for the cavalry. Tier 2 is going to be 10%, and then the Tier 3 is where things really get spicy. They give you a deflective armor like you do with the Japanese, which is incredibly powerful. Not to mention, by the way, some really key upgrades can be the cavalry movement speed, as well as this one, the Mounted Samurai Adachi. Not to mention the Japanese get 4 melee attack upgrades in total. It's going to run on in, get some damage. Good walls though for Numudan, just to zone things off a little bit. But it's just going to go through the gate. And, okay, I mean, he's limited the damage, actually, Numudan. Really nicely done, because these samurai can often cause a lot of havoc. His army's got back home. But you can see how little damage the yeomen actually do here. It is not a lot. The spearmen, though, giving chase, they could do a lot of damage. Oh, monk will be picked apart, no doubt about it. Alright, Mounted Samurai have been dealt with, so that's a really good victory there in terms of a small battle for the House of Lancaster, because if the Mounted Samurai do start to build in numbers, they can start to become overwhelming. Probably now, for both players, is the overwhelming desire to get those relics. Puts them in a good stead in the late game. Yeah, interestingly enough, the House of Lancaster not got any farms just yet, been able to survive on the map. But it just shows you the power of the Sengoku daimyo, right? Got to the castle age faster, has got farms set up already, the Matsuri working for him well. Sure, you got the manners for the House of Lancaster, but the fact that you can play very condensed like this, with the Matsuri at home, safe and secure, is super duper nice. Whereas you can see the House of Lancaster having to be a bit more expansive on the map, which leaves them prone to raids, of course. The Iko monk, holy, oh my god, he's doing so much work. Just demolished 3 hoblars, picks up the relics, and then just heads on home and says, oh, just all in a day's work. Speaking of which, 1 relic is in play for marinelord. Already in the bank, gathering the resources, another on the way. Now the gold at home, about to be running out for Numudan. Bit of an issue actually, because there's gold here, which is, well, relatively protected, but no walls. It could just run on through here, marinelord. Yeah, now we see the crossbowman spearman combination for Numudan, but positioning of his army is going to be absolutely key. Will not want to take any unfavorable engagements, but this is a fight. I think marinelord just wins it, right? It's just sheer numbers. Even up against the counter. Oh, Numudan is going to be popping it through with a secondary force. This may be a bit more to think about for marinelord, but again, it's mostly yeoman. Doesn't really want to gauge against the spearman, ideally. We'll be backing away. Now, interestingly enough, he's actually gone for the Oda clan estate as well. So yeah, he's going to add in some of the Yumi Ashigaru to deal with the spearmen. And it's such a powerful unit, right? Just being cheaper, fast movement speed, they can catch up with the yeomen, snipe them out, snipe the spearmen out, and leaves the Mounted Samurai to do everything else they need to. It's like marinelord's going to get the 3rd relic as well. It's the power of the movement speed. Just on the map, covering all the bases. There's 1 more relic here, which is not a guaranteed for the House of Lancaster, actually. Not by any stretch. Getting all these important upgrades. Here you go, Yumi. Gains additional damage for the Yumi Ashigaru, again, because of the Oda clan. And that's the crazy thing, right? The damage should be pretty much on par with the yeoman now because of that. Well, it will be anyway, once the upgrade comes on in. Actually, to be fair. 9 versus 4. Of course, it's because of the blacksmith upgrades as well. Which, to be fair, are coming in for marinelord as well soon. Synchronized shot going to be coming on through. That's one good thing for these yeomen. They can utilize that. But again, I mean, it will do some work. But they're going to have to focus fire on the Yumi Ashigaru really more than anything. Mounted Samurai, they'll be okay with this. Oh, wait. Hey, Numudan, careful. Wait a minute. Don't want to overshoot there. Does head back home, back to the safety of the spearmen. Could have been a different story if those Mounted Samurai decided to pounce on them. Looks like marinelord thinking about the sacred sites as well. 20 minutes into the game, and let's take a look at the income. Like, this should be a lot better for the sengoku because of the matsuri. It is now at 25% gathering. Yeah, and in terms of villager counts, I mean, pretty evenly in terms of food, but there's a good maybe 200-300 food per minute extra. The gold, yeah, 7 extra villagers, but it's double the income. Granted, a lot of that's because of the relics, a lot of that's because of the sake brewery. I think the fact that the sake brewery stacks with the matsuri is kind of crazy, because it's just a safe source of gold. Even if you're pressured by going to for a fast castle, unless it's an all-in play and a dive-in, you can always have some access to gold, which is often the resource you struggle with the most in the castle age, at least the early stages. But that's been long gone. We're kind of really into the mid to late stages of Castle Age now. Players maybe even thinking about going to the Imperial Age, especially when you look at how much gold marinelord has. But considering his army composition, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go a lot heavier in the Castle Age. Just the army value for him, look at it. It's crazy. I would love to see these walls completed though, because the mounted samurai probably wouldn't mind just running in through here, as long as there's a way out. Yeah, army numbers looking good for the House of Lancaster. One thing they do have in their favour is population efficiency with the manors. I mean, you could say the same though with the increased gather rate with the matsuri. The real kind of concern I have is the longer the game goes on, the real population efficiency comes in terms of quality of units, and there's very few that beat cavalry in that regard. These mounted samurai are a sight to behold. Looks like they're going to be charging through. marinelord's had enough of waiting. Going to burn through the walls, break on in. Up in the north, it looks like Yumi versus, well, the whole army for Numudan is going to have to head back home. I love the fact that he kept units here, marinelord, just to entice Numudan outwards. Numudan's going to find it difficult to retreat back home. A couple of spearmen, they're just going to get sniped. And the mounted samurai now have a lot of potential to do damage. Villages are garrisoned inside the town centre, but it's going to go for the manors and torch them down. And that's actually a big, decent chunk of economy that's going to be going down, by the way. The passive resources, but also because there's 14 villages that were around it. I should be able to break out, even if it's double palisade layers. I don't think this goes up in time anyway. Just when you have this number of mounted samurai, if it's always palisades, you're always going to find a way out, generally. Unless you're head on an engagement on a fight, but it's so difficult for the House of Lancaster to keep everything together. Like, they've been chasing, and they've always been chasing. And he has escaped. Sniped a mana, and out he goes. Look at this, behind all of this. The Imperial Age coming on in. And for me, personally, this is where I feel like the Sengoku daimyo are absolutely broken. For me, no, there's no doubt about it. Like, the big thing we talk about mounted samurai is, to be fair, he's not even got full upgrades. He could get the Takeda level 3, which give him 10% extra HP. Would give him the deflective armor. He could get Adachi, which is +4 melee infantry. Damage against any infantry, rather. You know, whether it be spearmen, whatever, crossbows, they get an extra damage. The Sengoku daimyo get an additional melee attack overall from the blacksmith, or for the forge for them. But the big thing is the daimyo hero unit. Increases the attack speed by 20% in the Imperial Age. But this bad boy, the sword hunt statue, increases it to 40%. I mean, it's just value after value after value. And I gotta say, I think we've got to do some testing, but I believe with all these upgrades in, this has to be pound for pound the best unit in Age of Empires form. And I really fear for Numudan because of that. At this point, I don't know if it becomes about gameplay and how Numudan deals with it, as opposed to just the fact that this unit is absolutely cracked. We'll see what Numudan could do with it though, because he does have most of the combination that he needs. Spearmen and crossbows, although I feel like there's just not enough crossbows actually. Especially when you consider the Yumi Ashigaru should be able to deal with the spearmen. Synchronized shot comes out, doesn't really land too much. But the big thing is that it's Imperial Age versus Castle Age as well. So you can have the counter units if you want, but they're not upgraded to where they need to be. Wingard Palace is going to be rushed with 22 villagers, but it's going to take some time to get there. And I love the fact that marinelord is going now to torch things down. Go for the manors, go for the production buildings, so that even if Numudan gets to the Imperial Age, going to struggle to maximize the potential for it. Yeah, upgrades coming on in. Biology. Getting the elite Yumi Ashigaru. Plate cutter point as well. angled surfaces, the ranged armor. He's actually not gone for Takeda level 2 or 3 actually just yet. I guess yeah, I mean, to be fair, things like biology is going to have a bit bigger of an impact. But the fact that these units could get even stronger than what they are now is part of the wildness of the situation. He's going to dive in, right? He's going to go for the landmark snipe, it looks like. I mean, not really, but there's the White Tower and the Wingard up in the north. Synchronized shot comes out, but really kind of tickles these knights. These are still veteran units. You can see Numudan really does not want to commit to a fight here. Not until the upgrades are in, Spearman Brace, but marinelord, he wants to take the fight. Even with the choke point, he just doesn't care. He's going to fight it off, knowing that Numudan doesn't have his upgrades just yet. It's a good time to fight. Yeoman trying to focus on the Spearman as much as possible. Heads on back though, marinelord doesn't want fancy the full fight. It's going to be coming in back for another round before too long, I imagine. Still has the daimyo. Groups up together. Going to be getting silk bowstrings for the Yumi Ashigaru. And this army composition is proving a problem for Numudan. Synchronized shot comes up and lands pretty well, to be fair, this time. Numudan is starting to get the upgrades in. So he's got the Elite Yeoman and Elite Spearman. But just lagging behind a little bit in blacksmith upgrades. And now the torches are out once again for marinelord. Bear in mind, behind all of this, his economy is untouched. Buildings going down. I mean, yeah, the Yeoman is focusing on the fight, as well as the Yumi Ashigaru, but the Mountain Samurai, they were torching. Now they're just dancing around, possibly going to just engage this, because I think at some point, with the number of units that marinelord is getting, he's just going to collapse on this army and clear it out. It almost seems like a ticking time bomb. Any moment now. He's going to dive on in. A synchronized shot comes out, but dodging coming out for marinelord. And once again, yeah, he's going to get us around on the left and the right. Mountain Samurai dive on in. There's just not enough here for Numudan. And there it is. GG gets scored. A cracking game of Age of Empires 4. It just shows you how powerful Sengoku Daimyo is. And I mean, I imagine we're going to see a lot more of this in the ladder. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. People have been calling House of Lancaster broken. But the Sengoku Daimyo maybe have just got one up on them. Take care, and see you next time.